Hello, this is Taylor K. Stevens, and I am here with a client, Mark, and we're having a coaching session. And so anyway, Mark, how are you?
Taylor, I'm doing great today. Today's a good day. Can't wait to get started. Excited about this opportunity.
Okay, good. Well, we're here because Mark has a business opportunity that he's been working on for a while, and he's a little stuck with the business, which I think we all go through, especially as entrepreneurs. And so he's trying to figure out how to get the ball rolling on this a business project. And so that's what we're going to do, is try to discover why things are kind of stalled a little bit and what we can do to get things moving in the right direction. So, Mark, I know we talked a little bit yesterday, but tell me again, and also for the viewers, a little bit about the project. You don't have to go into all the details, but tell me a little bit about this project, how long you've been working on this, and where you are right now. And another thing that would be helpful is, what are the different things that you have tried to get this moving forward?
Sure. So about 2 years, I came up with this ideal for our company, which I called See Your Goals. And basically, what I was trying to look for some things to incorporate all the things that I've learned throughout the years of what you need to do in order to be successful, right? So I tried to pull in all the different things that I've learned through the years, which is understanding the importance of visualization, affirmation, and taking the time to actually write something down, write the things down that you need to do on a daily basis. Whoops, sorry about that. Got a little thing on my screen tonight. There we go. Okay. Basically, it was coming up with a tool to help people stay focused on their goals. And what I kind of came up with is making it a little bit different, was to tailor it so it would be custom to everybody else. So it could be your own pictures of your own wants and pictures of your whys, and then put that all in a journal where you get reminded of things every day. I started a project for about 2 years. I had some pretty good momentum into the first year, where I was actually able to get in front of a pretty known business coach who I presented the ideal for validation purposes, and he absolutely loved it. He's like, "Oh, this is just a great idea, so unique. I think you're on a winner. You need to go on and get started with that." And so I was excited, and I was working pretty hard, and then it just kind of stalled. You know, it was right there, right? I got this guy who's willing to endorse my product, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do now? He wants to endorse something that I came up with, who am I, right? That type of thing. So that was kind of what the project was, and that's where I kind of got stuck at. And then some of the different things that I try to do to move forward with it was trying to make a list of things I needed to do and try to prioritize them. And I would come up with some of the best game plan, right? The sheets I would use in Smartsheet, and I'd take time and I plan it all out. I'd have it all planned out, and I would just get down to some of the executional part, and I would stumble, and I would just it would just sit there, and it'd sit there for day or 2, 3 days, and all of a sudden somebody would ask me about it and where you are with that, and can't wait to see it, and then kind of pick it back up and start running a little bit more. Then I eventually actually ended up getting several books printed. So once I got them in my hand, I thought that would be the thing that'll push me over. Now I'll do it, right? Because I got the books in my hand. And so that was a milestone. But then once again, I sat right there before jumping or going to the next one.
Okay, well, I'm smiling because I can relate, and I think anybody who's watching this will also be able to relate, because this is such a common issue that almost just about everybody goes through. We just don't hear about these things happening. And okay, so let me ask you, do you know when you get, it's kind of a stop and start and stop and start is kind of what happens with us. So do you know, are there things that what do you either tell yourself, or what do you feel when you're right there really, you feel like you're really, really close, what is it that you feel, or what do you say to yourself? What happens?
That's
Or
a
do you
that's a
know?
very good question, and that's kind of like what I'll do is I'll get right there to the edge, and I start telling myself, "Oh my gosh, you've never done this before," or there may be certain pieces of the plan that I haven't figured out. So I try to force myself to move forward with the whole 80-20 rule, right?
Mhm.
But then I get bogged down on that 20%, and what if I do go forward and then this hiccup happens, and it's kind of like planning for like the final war, right? The last
Right.
battle. So that's what I do, and
Yeah.
so it's some I would have to say some self-sabotage or not worthy of kind of getting this done, and then I circle the wagon and I pump myself back up, and then I take a few more steps.
Yeah. Well, here again, this is not uncommon. I mean, yeah, I think most people do this or something similar. And so, um, maybe it's a little bit of fear and a little trepidation because you're not really sure, oh my gosh, I've never done this before. And it's like with anything. If we've never done it before, it's a little scary, and the kind of the fear of the unknown. And so this is very, very common. So, have you, do you feel like you get to the same point kind of each time? You kind of get right to the same point and then kind of pull back?
No, I honestly say I think I move a little bit further every time. I just don't think I'm moving. Oh, I know I'm not moving as fast as I can or as I should, right? So, like for instance, like one part of it was once I had to design the book and I had to come up with a book, and then I kind of went back and said, okay, I got to redo it right because it's not right. And then I got the book, then like I said, then I went a little bit further and got the website up, then kind of sat and waited and I tried to come up with a marketing plan and kind of sat and waited. So it's like it's moving forward, but it's way slower than it really needs or should move.
Okay. Well, it is where it is. And so, do you feel like you have most of the parts in place for the book to actually, if I came to you and said, I want one of these, would you be able to produce a book for me?
Yes, that's where I'm at right now. Yes, I can produce the book, and I've got it in a way where before it was a very manual, long process where it would
Mhm.
take me about 3 weeks and exchange about 3 different companies in order to make the book come out the back end, to where now I have it to where it's a template, it's a one-stop shop that I can actually do it myself.
Okay. Now you said that you had a gentleman that wanted to endorse this product.
Yes.
Okay. What has happened with him?
Nothing. And I tell you why. What my fear or my intrepidation was, two sides. One side is because I never done this before. I didn't want to make a bad deal in the beginning, right? I didn't want to make negotiate a joint venture with somebody and then kind of make a bad deal, right? So that kind of was hesitation from that perspective.
Mhm.
And then also at that time, once again, I was about a year ago, I didn't have the infrastructure in place to be able to produce books in a large scale because I knew this gentleman, could do an event and sell, 100, 200 of these custom books real easy. And
Okay.
so that's one other thing that was kind of holding me back.
Okay. So, one thing I want to ask you is, do you feel like you have enough time to devote to getting this off the ground?
Yeah, I don't think time is the biggest challenge for me right now.
Okay.
I don't think it's time. I wouldn't say that's what it would be. I do a lot. I got one other idea that I'm working on, but I don't think it's a time thing. No.
Okay. Um, so you said you have another thing that you're working on. Is this something that you can separate? Because what happens is sometimes we get more than one thing going, and we get too many things going at the same time, which can be a little overwhelming.
Yes, I agree with that. And what I found was because when I try to do multiple things, they do, even if they're totally different, they end up blending or getting one off track. And I was listening on a call the other day, and I picked up one little nugget, which has really kind of helped me out in the last week and a half. And what he basically said was when he does multiple projects, one day is specifically for that project and that project only. So that way he doesn't get derailed. He was using it for sales. So in his business, he made Monday was his call day. No matter what, he called on Monday and never went out and saw nobody on Monday. And my mindset was like, man, if someone called me and want to make a sale, I got to go. And he's like, no, in the long run, that kind of, gets him off track. So
Right.
Monday, I can't do it, but I can definitely see you at Tuesday or on a Thursday. So I try to kind of do the same thing. When I'm working on one, try to give that, that day where I'm putting, 90% of my effort into that, unless there's something small that I can deal with.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to say, you want to make sure that you can devote all of your time and focus towards this thing that you are trying to get off the ground.
Okay.
And if you have something else, because the thing that happens so much of the time with us is we have the shiny object syndrome. And that means we're working on this, and then we see another idea, or we see another course, or another book, or another program that's going to be the answer. And so we say, yeah, I need to do that. And it pulls our focus off of what we're working on. And I'm not talking about if you are stuck in an area where you need to learn a certain particular skill that's going to help that. But you want to be careful that you don't get distracted. Distractions are one of the biggest problems that anybody has.
Okay.
So to be able to, all kinds of distractions, whether it's social media, our kids, everyday life, just distraction after distraction after distraction. And it's like emails and social media. And when I'm working on any kind of a project, I shut my email off, I shut my phone off, I even will put my phone in the other room. So I'm not tempted to check my phone. Or if
That's a good point. That's a very good point. I will do that. I will, if I get bogged down or something like go my way, I'll stop and I'll just jump on Facebook, and just kind of get lost in the sauce. So,
absolutely.
thank you.
So you want to shut everything off, because, and even when you go into your office, you literally, when I was going through a messy time in my life, and I was 5 years behind the IRS, and I had to get my taxes done. It was a get them done or go to jail. And so I literally put a note on my front door by my doorbell, do not disturb. In fact, I put a funny sign on there. I said, if you want to know if there's life after death, ring this doorbell. It's like, so I really did. And I had to, just close everything. Don't bother me unless you cut your leg off or Oprah calls me. Don't bother me, and you really have to do that, because we can justify everything. You can justify why you need to be doing this other thing rather than working on this thing that you're trying to get off the ground. So that's another key thing, is you want to schedule in, because it's just like this session or a paying client. If you had a paying client at 4 o'clock, from 4 to 5 o'clock, or from 4 to 6, and they're going to be paying you big bucks, you would be there. You wouldn't be doing anything during that time. And so you need to treat whatever it is you're working on just like a paying client. You have to pencil in, you have to write in your schedule when you're going to work on this. And you don't do anything else except what it is you're supposed to be working on. It's absolutely crucial that you do that. And so the thing is, now that you have the infrastructure into place, it actually sounds like you are not that far from being able to take this and do something with it, because you have the infrastructure into place. If you went back to this gentleman and he could get you 200 copies of the book or whatever, you would be able to produce that. So how did you leave that with him? In other words, is he kind of still waiting on you, or what took place when you were interacting with him?
Yeah, I think what he was waiting to do, I think that's part of what he was doing too, was to see where I was at with it and know whether I could handle it. And if I could, then I would come back to get to him. He had he mentioned I need to get some pricing, in better in line, which I did. And so maybe I saw him. I saw him in person maybe about at the end of the year, and told him that I was working on some new things, and he just told me to stay in contact with him. But like always, you want to kind of strike when the iron's hot. So
sure. Okay, so do you feel like you have everything in place if someone, say, put an order in for this particular product? Do you have everything set up to take money? Do you have, if somebody wanted to pay you, do you have all that put into place?
No, and that's the I came up with a really simple way of doing it through PayPal. Right? It wasn't quote unquote fancy. Wasn't with the shopping cart or what have you. So I do need to do that, and I've been working on my opt-in page. So where I basically kind of got away from this, whole website that I spent, a lot of money on and hired all these people to do, to where now I just came up with a simple opt-in page with the information about the product and a video. And I'm maybe 85% away done with that. And then now I need to tie that back into the back end. So that's something I still need to do. And
okay,
then I'll be
okay. Have you made a list of every single aspect that you need to do? Do you have an actual physical list of each one of these components that you need to be able to get this off the ground? Because you see, you're not quite ready. If I come to you, you want to be, people say, well, you want to, just do it, whether you're ready or not. A certain amount of that is true, but here's the thing. It's not, be careful what you asked for, because if you get it, are you ready to give somebody the business if they come to you? Not quite. It's like, I remember one time I wanted to speak, and it was like 2 days later, somebody came, wanted me to do an hour, keynote, and I was like, I'm not ready. And I had to scramble around and work. I went and did that presentation, and it was not good. I was glad they weren't paying me, because I would have given them their money back. And that was a good lesson for me, because I said, I will never ever do that again. What we're going to do is we're going to get everything in place. So if next week somebody comes, you can contact that gentleman, and you're ready to take the money. You're ready to, because this is what you want.
Yeah, Taylor, I think you're right. I think that's some of the next steps. I originally had pretty much an outline, not a business plan, but more of an outline of the next steps I needed to do. And I kind of got to those things done. And I need to go back and revisit that and to figure out what are the things I needed to add, what are the things I needed to change, because I am right there. Okay,
so what I want you to do is I want you to make a list of every single detail of everything that you need to do so you are ready for business. Do you have you want to think about, are you legally, can you take money? Do you have your little sales license?
Yeah, right. Okay.
So you want to get that as if, because here's the thing, you're not quite ready enough, but you want to get ready. And that's what we've got to do, is to get you ready. I think your idea is fabulous. You already have somebody who wants to endorse your product. So make a list of each thing that you've got to do. If somebody comes to you and said, I want 200 of these tomorrow, every single thing, make a list of that.
Okay. Got it.
And the other thing that I want you to do, I want you to do this tomorrow, is I want you to make a list of everything that you do from the time you get up in the morning until you go to bed.
Okay.
Everything. I don't care if it's brushing your teeth. I don't care what it's. That sounds crazy, but I want you to make a list of every single thing that you do.
The only thing, Taylor, it's funny you talk about breaking a list. I'm guilty of this, and I get so frustrated. So like sometimes I'll say, okay, like these are the 3 things that I look to do for that day, right? And then life happens, right?
I know.
And then you get on this wild goose chase, and you're way off, and I get so frustrated. And sometimes it's just because I'm locked in on that day. Like I'm ready to get this stuff done, and then something comes up, and I'm like, and I have, you get out of, a spaz or get excited or upset about something. And usually you get upset about it. It's not really that. It's just that, I'm locked in right now. No, not now, not now. But yeah, I will make a list. It'll be pretty interesting.
Yeah, no, I get it. And that's one thing that I help people do is get total control of their life, their day, and all of their time. Now, the second part of this exercise is I want you to write down exactly how long you spend on each activity. I don't care if it's for 1 minute, if it's 2 hours, and I don't want you, there's 2 things I want you to keep in mind. I don't want you to worry about, oh my gosh, I shouldn't be spending this much time. I don't worry about that.
Okay.
To be honest, I don't care if you're spending 4 hours on Facebook. I don't care what it is, or if you went and chilled out on the couch and ate a half a gallon of ice cream. I don't care what it is. This is not good or bad. The second part of that is I want you to pretend, this is a little technique that I have my clients do.
Okay.
I want you to pretend that you are doing this for someone else. This is not about what you're doing. I want you to pretend that you're following around a good friend and you're just keeping notes of what he's doing and how much he's spending on it. And what this will do is it takes the emotional component out of it. Because when it's our stuff, we feel bad, or we feel like, no, I shouldn't be doing that, or my gosh, I should have done this. It's not about good or bad. It's not about judging. It's just, I want you to do this for somebody else. And it's just a matter of fact. So that's what I want you to do, because what we have to do is we have to start taking inventory. This is going to start getting you on the right track to figure out where the issues are, and so we can kind of get to the root cause of it. And it seems like a silly little exercise. I've had CEOs do this. I've had geeky tech people do this. I've had moms. I've had everybody do this. I had a client that was a mother of 6. She homeschooled her kids, and she's had an online business. And she came to me, she's having issues, kind of stuck in her business, and she wasn't sure, what she needed to implement. Problem is, she didn't have enough time to work on her business, and this time she was spending was not spent productively. And within about 3 or 4 weeks, we were able to come up with 25 hours a week just so she could devote on her business. That was pretty miraculous. And she didn't take away from spending time with her kids or anything else. Very similar situation as yours. She kind of would start and stop, start and stop. And she thought she had a business problem.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't have a business problem. This is what I find with people. So this is going to help us find out where the issues are and get to the root cause of the issues. And like I said, do not judge what you put down on paper. You're just doing this for a friend.
Gotcha. No, it's a great exercise, and I will start logging this and keeping track of this. One of the things that part of my personality too, that kind of gets me in trouble, and I got a feeling this exercise really is going to reveal it as well, is like I'm the guy, like if you're in a building and it's on fire and everybody's got to get out, I'm your guy.
Yeah.
I stay calm under pressure,
Yeah.
and I can make things happen. But it's not good to live in a chaotic all the time. You know what I'm saying? But I do well in that, and as opposed to, I probably do better. When I say I do well, I'm able to get people out. I don't know if I'm able to save the building or put the fire out, right? But I think this exercise I'm excited about doing, because I think what it'll show me is that, if I plan it all out, I probably can go a lot further and get a lot more done.
Right. So, well, I'm with you, because we're very much the same way. You're an action taker, and then, you also are compassionate with people. And so, you're a helper. And so I get that. And you also like freedom. And so what this is I took me a long time to figure this out, because when I thought, oh my gosh, this is so structured and I don't think this is going to work. But what you're going to find is this is going to give you more freedom. This is, trust me, freedom is my number one value. And this has given me so much freedom. I mean, this is just one step, but this is where it starts.
Sure.
And this is going to end. You think about what it is you're trying to accomplish and why it is you're wanting to accomplish this. And I'll say to you, like Dr. Phil, how's your way been working for you? Not very well.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So,
well, Taylor, hey, I really appreciate this. I think this is a great first step. I'll take a list of these action items that you have me to do. When do you want to get back to together?
Let's work Friday.
Friday, okay.
And the same time is good for me. I actually have that time open, if that works for you.
Yes, that works out perfectly. Friday at 3.
Right. So just the couple of things is you make that list of inventory of your day, and don't change your day. Just go about your day, and if you get distracted, it doesn't matter. And then I also want you to make that list of every single thing that you need to do, because if somebody comes to you 3 days from now, you want to be ready, and we're going to get you ready. That's what we're going to do. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah,
hey, Taylor, I really appreciate it.
Fabulous idea. And it's different, it's unique, it's very needed. Like I was telling you yesterday, people need this. Don't hold back, because people need what you have.
Yeah.
They don't know about it, and you're going to be able to help so many people. This can help change people's lives. And I think that that's very important to you. And not only change your life, but it'll change other people's lives.
It will. Hey, thanks again, Taylor. And
You're welcome.
Look forward to talking to you again.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye. You have a nice day.
You too.